Time for a fresh edition of Breaking the Ranks, where Adam Rank explains which players, fantasy managers, and experts all around the league are ranking way too high and way too low. So let's start at a place where everyone is judged, Hollywood. Marquise Brown, he's one of the players that you say is the most underrated fantasy studs out there. Adam, why?
Well, he's really starting to gain some momentum in the community, but I really do believe that you should be targeting this player in your fantasy leagues this season. Obviously, anytime you have a receiver that's on a run-heavy team, it's going to be a little dicey, but he did lead the team with 71 targets last season. He had at least 16 targets of more than 20 air yards last year, and to me, he kind of fits into a situation similar to Tyler Lockett in Seattle, so I think he's a great value.
I will say that I'm starting to come around on Marquise Brown. I mean, the ups and downs were a little too much for me last year, but reports are he wasn't completely healthy. The Ravens say they want to throw the football more, and those are sort of reasons for me to kind of get behind maybe taking a chance on him somewhere in the mid-rounds.
Also, that 4,000 calorie a day diet that he's been on, it's working. So we'll see if that's working on the field too. Adam, I know you have more. Who else isn't getting enough shine?
Well, I really love DJ Chark, who I think should be considered one of the all-elite receivers in the NFL right now. Last year, he was the most targeted receiver on the Jacksonville Jaguars. He had the most receiving yards and the most touchdowns. He had 12 receptions of at least 20 air yards in 2019. That was tied for third amongst receivers. And what we're really looking for from wide receivers are guys who are in a situation where they could be in games where they're having to throw the ball a lot, and we expect our friends down in Duval to do that. So I love DJ Chark this season.
I do like the point about the Jaguars possibly playing from behind a lot, because I do think that's going to happen. But I think it's a case for me of looking at passing volume versus passing efficiency. The Jags threw it a lot last year. They didn't throw it effectively, and so I wonder whether or not we're going to have a lot of roller coaster weeks with DJ Chark.
Yeah, all the reports, though, coming out of Duval on Thursday were glowing about DJ Chark. The connection with him and Minshew, it's amazing. It's blossoming. We'll see if that's accurate. Okay, let's go overrated here, Adam. The guys that you want everybody in your league to draft. Who is too high?
Well, I'm advocating everybody take Kenny Golladay because I want no part of that passing game for the Detroit Lions. Now, obviously, Matthew Stafford last year was on pace for MVP-like numbers, targeting, close to 5,000 yards before he got injured. But as I said earlier in the show, when we were talking about DeAndre Swift, the Lions want to run the football. And this is going to be a situation where Matt Patricia, in the third year, trying to establish the culture once and for all, that culture is going to be running the football. I think it's going to look similar to the way the Patriots were the last couple of years, where they were really run heavy. And I think that Kenny Golladay is going to come off the boards way too early.
First of all, how dare you? I mean, last year, Kenny Golladay found ways to succeed, even with David Blau and Jeff Driscoll at the quarterback position. And even if the Lions do want to run the football more, he is still going to be the primary target. He's going to get plenty of love from Matthew Stafford. I mean, this is a guy who was knocking on the door of a top 10 season. I think he can actually get there this year, so I'm still all in on KG.
I don't want to get into our NFL Fantasy Live League. Listen, we're going to draft this year, Marcus. I'm going to watch. You're going to have to take him in the second round now. He's all yours.
Second round, wow.
That's where his ADP is.
That's a little rich. Okay, for the love of symmetry and just because I'm OCD in general, I'm going to need another guy here. One that's just getting too much hype, Adam.
Well, I really do believe that people are reading too much into the way that Tyler Higbee finished last season, and now they are overdrafting him in their fantasy leagues. Obviously, at the end of the year, he was the tight end one over the last couple of weeks if you started week 13. But you have to remember, Gerald Everett was not on the field during those games. So, of course, all the targets went to Higbee. And now I've seen people draft him in ridiculous spots. I want you to go do that. I've got a tight end for you later in the show who you're going to want instead.
We are of the same mind about this one. I mean, what we saw Higbee do at the end of last season was all universe type numbers, and it's just hard to expect something like that over the course of 16 games. If there is some hope for him, it's that I think he gets more targets because Brandon Cooks isn't there.